views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting groups. If you'd like to produce a show, call us at 260-421-1250.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Wisdom and Prosperity. We're having a great day. My name is dcooper.
Jason Dixie.
Jermaine Muff.
Well, we just getting done with Father's Day, man. How did y'all Father's Day go?
It was good, man. I found out that I was the father of another kid on Maury. So I guess I got to pay, man. 13 years of back support. So I hope this show takes off.
Mine was pretty laid back. You know, took my daughter out to dinner, chilled out, watched a little TV.
I thought every day was Father's Day, man. What's going on?
Oh, man, you know.
When we start talking about fathers, you know, how do we, you got these young guys out here, man, a lot of them lacking a lot of knowledge, man. What are some of the tips that we can give for some of these guys who need to learn how to be a father?
Oh, man.
Or better yet, how you got to become a man first, right? You got to find yourself before you can help somebody else find themselves, right?
Right.
So, you know, what are some tips on becoming a man?
Oh, man. I think the biggest tips for me was learning by examples. You know, and it don't have to be your father that you learn those examples from. It can be like, you know, a big brother, or it could be, you know, somebody in your family that you look up to, an uncle, you know, or something like that, you know. I think that's pretty much, you know, what you want to do. You want to try to take those lessons and learn from them.
Yeah, I had to look for uncles. My dad really wasn't there for me. My uncles were kind of in the street life, you know, sold drugs in and out of prison. So really, I had to find my own, you know what I'm saying, out of school systems. Even friends' fathers, you know what I'm saying? I kind of was like astray, and I had to find my way.
That's right. I mean, there's a difference between a father and a dad, right?
Yeah.
I
think a dad is the title. You know what I'm saying? I believe, you know, if you just have a baby, you a dad.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
My son calls me daddy. So
mine too.
So hey, man, I can't say that. But he sees me as, you know, as the father. But right. I mean, I'm not called, you know, father. May I have another, you know, Sierra Mist, please? Yeah. It's nothing like that. You know what I mean?
But if you had to define father, a real definition, what would you give it? I mean, you know, as opposed to a dad, just.
I would say a man who, one, takes care of his responsibility, you know, not just for himself, but his family. One who is a provider, you know, I don't care, you know, if he has a high up job or he has a job where he's just, you know, making ends meet. And one who shows a lot of love, because really love is, I think, more important than anything. You
Sacrifices.
Know? And taking time to listen, you know, to your kids. You know what I mean?
Building a bond with them young.
Yes, that's huge.
I believe it's love. I'm sorry.
No,
I believe it's love. I think it's leadership is the biggest, you know, because, you know, they implement, you know, you. So, you know, I think you got to lead them right.
That's right.
So.
Yeah, and, you know, I think quality time is so important, too. You know, I've talked to a lot of guys, and actually with myself, you know, you get guys who, you know, might see you once or twice a month, you know, maybe come to your games or different things like that. Man, a father is so much, you know, has so much to come along with it, man. You know, your kids watch everything you do. You know, you are the example, you know, and a lot of times we make so many excuses, you know, I don't have money, or, you know, I'm in a tough situation, or I didn't know how to be. Well, who does? You know, I didn't have a clue how to be a father, or don't even know if I was ready to be a dad when it was time. All you hear is, in slow motion, I'm pregnant.
Yeah. You're basically saying this thing to me when I had my son. My wife told me something that I never forget. She said, I was like, I don't know how to be a dad, you know, because that was my first child, you know, and my dad wasn't there, you know. He is now, but he wasn't then. And she said, be the man that you would have wanted your father to be for you, for our son.
That's powerful. That's powerful. And, you know, we don't always have to look at the positive to get positive outcomes. I've learned that as a grown man. You know, you sometimes take from negative and say, I'm gonna do the opposite. You know, now when we start talking about being a man, of course, a man want to reach certain levels. So you need certain support. You need a certain amount of support, and from the right people. What are some things that a wife or a mother of, you know, your children could do to support anything that you're trying to do as far as becoming a man? or maybe even making you feel more confident in yourself?
I think just not only because the thing about being, married, I mean, you can lose yourself in that person. I think it's a point that we all do that, where we lose ourselves, who we really are. I think really it's, if she could just more or less just not only like be there for you, the child and you, but also to like really like say if you have something you want to do, to kind of back that. I remember when I went to a conference one time, and I can't remember the guy's last name. His first name was Alex. He ended up like working at a meat packing place that her dad owned, and then he eventually ended up owning a San Diego Chargers, and writing best-selling books. Mm-hmm. And he said the reason that he was on that stage that night was because when he quit his father-in-law's job because he wouldn't pay him more money, mm-hmm. and she had a little one already. He had a little one already, and they had one in the oven. And he went home and said, "I quit, your father's business." And she said, "Why?" He said, "Because he wouldn't give me the extra money." And he said, "I'm not going back. And are you with me or not?" And she said, "I'm with you 110%. And they ain't have no money or nothing." And he said if she wouldn't have said that day, he would not be standing on that stage in front of all of us telling us his story and going on to own the Chargers and all of those things.
Because it would have discouraged him, or what?
Yes, because she wasn't if she wouldn't have been behind.
And please, that's a great scenario, but I've learned it in business and in the world of being a father and a husband, young. Mm-hmm. It's not always about turning somebody against somebody, if that makes sense. It's not about taking one loved one and making them make a decision based off of, who else you're dealing with. Sometimes it's about what we have to do to better each other, for the long term. Sometimes family members can pull you apart before other people. Mm-hmm. What you think about this, Mo?
I think about, I'm not married. You guys are married, but I'm looking. I think a wife, if she really believes in her husband, and if she, believes in what he's going for, and he's walking with God, I think the wife should just stand behind him and let him do his thing, and that's what I believe.
I think that's a good point. That's a great point. I always use the scenario when I talk to a lot of young people who look up to me. I'm young, but they're younger, or some of them even older than I am, to be honest with you. But I always use this. You got a car. We're gonna use a Rolls Royce, just because we don't want to crash that. You don't want to crash none, but this is a Rolls Royce. No. Now I'm driving this Rolls Royce, and I'm in the front seat. So obviously I'm leading whoever in the back, right? Because they ain't going nowhere unless I take them. But I have my wife here in the passenger seat. She in the front. So she's a leader also. You can give suggestions, and I'm open for them. Because in order for us to get to where we're going, I have to know where I'm going. And if I don't know, then your help would be a lot of help. But these kids better not reaching this front seat. Stay back there, cause y'all. Hey, listen, you ain't got no driver's license. Know your road. And if she reach over here and grab the steering wheel, it might kill all of us. Right. You see, so there's a role to be played by everybody. It's just like a NBA team or NFL team. Everybody has a role. I think that's well said, by Jermaine, because a lot of women don't have a clue how to stand behind a man because they feel like they are the man.
They've never been with a real man.
Or maybe they've never seen one. Or maybe they've been told by their mother that all men are dogs.
Right, and they're brainwashed by that.
But it's all about playing your role on the team so that we can reach our significant goal.
You see, that goes back into like how she grew up.
Brainwashed. Well, not brainwashed.
Not brainwashed, but just how she grew up. Everybody grows up differently. So, as you're learning, yourself, you're learning your mate. And sometimes that's a hard process. Especially if you have children in the mix. Because now you're learning them too. So you just have to really just kind of pray about things and just kind of keep God, real close, in your front pocket.
I agree. So where would you say that leadership starts?
Leadership starts from within. It's kind of like the last segment that we had before. Everything that you ever will want, and ever will do and be will start from
with the mind.
With you. Yeah.
I agree.
It has to.
When you start talking about, people stepping out here and they're actually killing each other. How do you implement leadership that started off at home that, maybe had the origins of, started in your mind, but it obviously starts at home because you can't be a leader in the community if you're not being a leader at home.
Right.
How do you take that leadership from home and actually implement it into the community to help other people who don't have fathers, who don't have leaders, who don't have mentors.
When you're out in the community, you be that example. You know, you show them, you know, wow, this guy, man, you know, he's, you know, yeah, he's hustling, but he's hustling honestly. You know, you know, I stepped on his shoes, he didn't even get mad. You know,
that's not easy.
That's not easy. It's not easy. I know I just got these Jordans, you know what I mean, or whatever it may be. You know, these Adidas, whatever it may be. But you just have to lead by, well, like Muff was saying earlier, you have to lead by example. You know, and just kind of show them that. You know, how can I be like this brother? You know, I think that's one of the things that's going on, you know, in the community with the crime. I think that, yeah, it's cool that a pastor may, you know, fast, or, you know, it's cool that, you know, that the police chief may come on TV for, you know, to talk about what's going on. But really, you need to get out in the community. And you need to go, yes, you need to go see these people. You need to be where they are. I mean, real, God's ministry wasn't just in the church, right?
It is real.
You know, God's ministry was also,
well, God's ministry was the church.
It was the church, but I'm saying he was out.
That's what I'm saying.
In the world,
I agree.
Around everybody.
He said, "I am the head, and you are the tail." They said, "We are the body," and our outreach has to be at a high. Right. You know, right now I said we need to reach out with power, and the only way you're going to reach out with actual power that's going to be effective is by having God being the leader.
Right.
But a lot of people are not walking with God, but they're claiming that they are. And we're not calling out anybody, but we just want to be real. If you want to step out and help somebody, you have to produce fruits.
Right.
And sometimes you have to come down to other people's level to help bring them up. You have to understand, like you said, listening to people. You have to understand where this person is in order to help them out, because you don't even know where they need help at if you don't try to find that out.
Right.
You're trying to talk and tell them what they need, or maybe even utilize them to help you get to certain levels. But in all reality, if you reach down to them and listen to them, they may tell you exactly where they need help, and then that may benefit you. Anything you want to add, Jermaine? You're kind of quiet over there.
Yeah, man, I kind of lost train of thought. Could you repeat the question?
I like real. I like real. We talk about implementing into the community leadership that starts off at home. He was so caught up into the listening. I like that. I like
that. You know,
that's wisdom. Most people would have said, they would have just started talking.
Yeah, they would have made something up and said, well, I think what it is about orange juice.
But,
or apple juice.
There you go.
Yeah. But I agree with Jason. I agree with him. I don't really have too much input on that. You know, I agree with everything that Jason and yourself said, so I'm going to leave it at that.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you feel that our schools, in all aspects, I mean, from preschool all the way up to, locally we just had a school that's going to close down, Imagine, which my son actually attended. And I thought that the school was awesome. But Ball State and them had some, they didn't see eye to eye on certain things. Do you believe that all these schools are teaching what these students need to know in order to be men, in order to be women, in order to be great fathers, in order to be great financial, be people of good financial literacy?
No, not at all. There's a lot that the school is lacking that they're not teaching, but they're going down in history. They're teaching the same things. Yeah, times are changing. And the times are changing, and we're just having failures, you know, out in the community and society.
What are some things you think we should add?
Money management. You know, teach these kids, you know, if they have a baby young, how to take care of that baby. Those little baby classes that they have, you know, we went to Harding, man. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Teach these kids, you know, how to survive, how to cook. You know, that home, man, that little baking pies, man, making all that. Come on, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, I agree. I believe that I think that math is good. I just think that there's some things that they should add to the math classes. You know, like you said, you mentioned the finances. I think that's gonna be, I mean, just reality. You know, a lot of people may not want to hear it, and they may say, "Oh, all this person talk about is money." It's not about money. It's the simple fact that people got eviction notices on their door because they have lack of knowledge. And I hate to see people going through that. You know, you want to add anything, Jason?
I agree with both of you guys on, you know, the whole educational system. I think that it's, you know, run down, and it's been run down for quite some time. I think that, you know, we really need to teach the kids more about that you can't, like a friend told me a long time ago, Anthony Deering, I'll never forget the guy, he said, you can't judge intelligence on a report card.
Wow.
That's powerful.
And just because you get A's and B's don't mean that you're going to go on to be the next, you know, president of the United States or the next, CEO of a big time company. I think that knowledge and experience is more important than grades.
Wow. Yeah, because you will be graded
because the way you grow, like Les Brown said, is through people and projects.
Yeah. I see a lot of A+ students in Subway.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with Subway. I love subs.
Ask me personally, how did you start that business? How did you become the man that you are? When I used to look at them saying, man, how are you so smart?
Me too.
Right.
And my government teacher, Mr. Weaver, used to always say, you're going to make it. And I was like, what do you mean I'm going to make it? He said, because you're a plugger. And the pluggers in life that never give up. They keep hearing no, but they never give up. Those are the people that make it.
They got that drive. And see, I always talk about drive, and people may be tired of hearing it, but it's reality, and I want to keep punching it into the minds of people, whether you're a young entrepreneur, a father, a leader of any aspect of life, but you have to understand what true drive is. I mean, the desire to be successful. Most people have that.
Mm-hmm.
Most people want to have success. Most people want $1 million. Most people want to be a giver, right? I mean, most people want to reach out and be able to do a lot of things, but you have to have that tool to say, I resist negativity. Regardless of what you tell me, I'm going to continue to stay positive. You have to be able to pick the right people to hang around. And stop hanging around the same people who you were hanging around, y'all had nothing. And not physically nothing, but mentally y'all weren't trying to go anywhere.
I know exactly what you're saying.
Right?
I mean, not to cut you off, but I'm just wanting to add what you're saying. I mean, I was telling my mom this the other day where she was saying that, I was telling her that people will bring you down before you bring them up. If they're already down, you know what I'm saying? And not to say that you can't bring them up, but in 9 times out of 10, I mean, most people,
because first you have to change your mindset, and that's hard to do. Because people are so caught up in the lifestyles that they are in, they're content. A lot of them.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm going to continue. You want to be, because this is for the people, you want to be involved with successors. And you're not going to be involved with successors steady hanging around your cousin who want to rob folk to come up with a quick dollar. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you want to be a businessman, go hang out with businessmen.
But they say, well, this person right here just, he don't want anything to do with me. Of course he doesn't. Because you can't let go of him over there.
Right.
Him over there look like as soon as I get him a ride off the street so he ain't got to walk, he going to bust me upside my head when he sit in my backseat.
Right.
Yeah.
And he will do it.
It goes back into birds of a feather flock together. Whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. You know what I'm saying? So, you have to just look at it from that standpoint and just realize that,
that's real.
I mean, it's just going, you're going to help some people, and some of them aren't. I was saying that today, because I gave a guy, some finances, to help out with his rent. And if he didn't get that money by a certain time, he was going to get evicted that day. Didn't know the guy very much well at all. He helped me, out a little bit, but I was telling him, I said, sometimes you get back, not from the people that you help, but from other people. That's just how life works. I'm starting to realize more and more as I go.
Well, you should look for a return from the person you helped anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. I told him, I said, as long as you was able to keep your place and your family was able to stay in there, that's all that matters, man.
That's good.
You're working now. That's what we want. But that's what we're missing, not just in our own community, but just really every community.
I'm glad you found joy in that, because the Bible actually says, not to get spiritual or anything, but it said you have to be a cheerful giver.
Right.
And I just think that that's just a great thing, and the feeling that you get when you actually help somebody, whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I feel good about it, and it sounds like you do. What about you, Jermaine? You knock your cup of folk out later?
No, I mean, if I have it, then you're gonna have it. If I don't have it, I'm gonna keep it real with you.
But you can't tell your kids that.
Oh no, I'm not gonna tell them that. I'm not gonna say it like that to them. But I believe I'm not gonna hurt myself to give you something that's not really. I'm not about to hurt. I'm not about to not pay the rent to throw you a birthday party.
You're basically saying that charity starts at home.
Yeah,
that's real.
I mean, I'm not just gonna hurt myself. For my kids, I love my daughter to death. But baby, I can't get them joints right now. We gotta get Converse.
Right. Some of the material things can be substituted easily.
Right.
It's like the person call you and say, "Can I get help with my light bill?" You're like, "How much your light bill?"
Right.
$200. Well, you got about 3 flat screen TVs on your wall that's worth about $400 a piece.
Right.
If you sell one of those, you got your light bill.
Quit playing.
And $200 cash to go ahead and implement that into something that's gonna help multiply something.
Quit playing.
You don't want to hear what I'm talking about, but you better get this knowledge on this material trade. Because the material ain't finna do nothing for you. I remember selling everything in my apartment to start my first business. I got laughed at. I talked about, man, I don't care what y'all talking about. I done gave up football for my family, and I'm going to sacrifice some of my wants and needs and some of this entertainment in this house for me to have better for my family later on. Maybe I was wrong, but that ain't what it's looking like right now. You know, but I want to start talking about a little bit of vision, man, because a lot of people think they know what vision is, man, and not to put people down or make people feel like they don't know what it is, but let's break it down. You know, what do you call vision?
Man, vision to me is like it's kind of like Al Stiles said. You know, when you go to bed at night, you know, sometimes I lay there with my eyes open, and the loudest sound you'll hear is no noise. The sound of your mind.
Oh, say that again.
The loudest sound you hear is no noise.
Tell me why I got a poem called Loud Silence.
Loud silence.
I didn't want to release it because I said people ain't gonna understand what I'm talking about, but maybe they will.
But but like Al said, you have to see yourself there before you get there.
Right.
You know,
right.
all your dreams. You know, I mean, my dream is to one day be a big time comedian and an actor. You know, how can Jason Dixie do that in Fort Wayne, Indiana? You know, it doesn't matter. Like Les Brown said, how you gonna get your dream? It has nothing to do with you. All you have to do is hold the vision, but that's the hardest part. Most people don't have vision. Of course, in the Bible it says without vision, the people will perish. Okay, so you have to have a vision. So I see myself on the screen. I see myself doing it. I see myself up there, and the crowd is going wild for a comedy show. You have to see it, you know. And as I'm seeing it, it's not happening right now. It's kind of like that song that Montel Williams said. 1994, Montel made no money and life show was slow.
Your favorite a little bit.
I would appreciate that. Which bank account was better? Which bank account was better? Wish I had his. But on a serious note though, as I've been saying that, it's been coming slowly.
Yes, sir.
So you have to see it before, and that's what a lot of people don't have that vision, because in school they tell you not to stop playing games and to be serious and do this and do that, and your parents tell you the same thing over as the years go by. But if you look at some of the biggest entertainment hubs in the world, what are they doing? They're playing what?
Games.
Football is the biggest hub in the world, right? And they're playing what?
Games.
Okay. So they're getting paid to do that, right?
Well,
I'm actually an analogy to say that.
No, I agree. I'm just joking.
You know what I'm saying? That's an example.
Everybody's stuck in the same mindset from the old days. If you're not doing a certain way like your mom or dad did to work in a factory, they believe you playing games. Right. Boy, you can't be a comedian. Quit being so damn goofy.
When they realize, they don't realize that most of the ones working in the factories are the ones making the excuses.
Right.
Because I'm going here working hard, but I learned a thing called working smart that gets you a lot farther than working harder sometimes.
Yeah, a lot farther.
It's like Les Brown said, I got to bring this up. He said when he wanted to be a motivational speaker, he had no idea how to do it. He had no college education, not even vocal education. Barely made it out of high school. Went to go see a speaker. This guy walks out. He's the worst speaker he's ever seen in his life. And the guy, he leans over and says, man, people walking, they getting up and leaving. Guy was like, man, you shouldn't be so quick to talk. So that opening dude, man, is the worst speaker you've ever seen. He's making $5,000 a night for every boring speaker he does. He said he ain't gonna call the guy's name because he's still working to this day. He said, but the moral of the story is, he said he went to another speech. He said the guy walked people again, got up, everybody left. He said, and he stayed for the whole thing. And he said the guy said something he never forgot. He said, the reason I'm up here and you're down there is because I represent the dreams that you have rejected for yourself. And what that speaker was basically saying to him is that, yeah, I may not be the best speaker in the world. Yeah, I may be a horrible speaker, but I'm up here doing it while you just sitting there talking about it or thinking about it.
Wow. I do this.
And to me, that hit me right between the eyes. And you don't have to be the best.
That's right.
You just have to get out there.
And that's a lesson learned that Les Brown had to learn in the process of him finding the level that he was trying to reach.
Right.
And a lot of people do not want to go, I should say a lot of individuals don't want to go through that process that is actually mandatory, because vision is the plan and the process to get to where you're trying to go, to get your purpose accomplished. And see, most of us have to find our purpose. People have to find themselves.
And you're going to have failures in that purpose.
What Martin Luther King said, he said, you stand for something,
you fall for anything.
Yeah, you're gonna have some failures. That is very powerful. Yeah. You're gonna have some failures. That's what a lot of people don't understand about a vision too. You're gonna have some disappointments. You're gonna have some letdowns. You're gonna get your foot in the door. It's gonna get slammed in the door, because that's how Murphy's Law works. But if you keep going long enough, the door will open.
Yes, sir.
All the way.
And I'm gonna close that by saying, we said the D for desire, resist the negativity with the R, and being involved with successors is the I in drive, and then the V stands for to have a vital mindset. And I wanted to close on that because you just touched on it. To have a vital mindset, to say I'm gonna keep going, even when my body says, I can't get up. If I gotta have meetings at 7:30 and 8 o'clock in the morning every day until something manifests, and then being efficient and excited about everything you're doing is the E.
I like that.
I love that. And it's got me where I am. and it's going to take me a lot further. We want to thank y'all for tuning in to Wisdom and Prosperity with Jason Dixie, Jermaine Muff, and myself, Devon Cooper. Y'all have a blessed evening, and I hope that you guys truly enjoyed this segment.
Peace.